installment's going to be a great one for sure. It's got some very popular Pokemon, some good cards as well. We're starting things off with a Pokemon who I have no idea how it eats, breathes, and smells, but it definitely knows how to kick.
31. Hitmonlee. If the Mario Brothers were represented in Pokemon card form, Hitmonchan would be Mario and Hitmonlee would be Luigi. Even though Hitmonlee is still rather useful here, it's always going to be overshadowed by its counterpart. This card laughs in the face of resistance and has 2 attacks can either bypass it or break through it. Stretch Kick has unique potential because it can attack defenseless bench Pokemon 20 damage isn't affected by weakness or resistance, but the damage is kind of measly and it wouldn't make much sense to lead off this strategy because its a battle you're probably going to end up losing given its lowest 60 HP. Instead, Stretch Kick works best in a tired and near defeated bench. Its other attack, High Jump Kick, is great for a first stage and stronger than Hitmonchan's Special Punch, but it also requires 3 fighting energies, which isn't bad, but would be a terrible idea to power up Hitmonlee when it's out battling. Regardless, with 2 good moves only being a basic Pokemon, it definitely deserves some consideration, but thanks to Hitmonchan it will remain in obscurity. 30. Beedrill. This is the pinnacle of Beedrill's strength and power compared to its value in the Pokemon Game Boy games. Just look at this guy, a 65-pound bee, intimidating for sure. Even though it didn't get that holographic stats, Beedrill is still quite awesome. Twin Needle is somewhat effective for an attack that'll probably end up doing 30 damage, but at least its energy cost is all colorless. It's generally reliable, but you'll probably not want to use that unless you're feeling gutsy or absolutely need to do 60 damage in a pinch. Poison Sting is where it's at. It's quadruple the strength that timid little Weedle once was. Even if you don't poison your opponent, it's still 40 damage, which is a solid effort. Getting that poison affected is icing on the cake. On defense, Beedrill is also good. It has a fairly high HP, though none more than a Cocoon unfortunately, and with the resistance and amazing free retreat costs, it can survive long and cure itself fairly easily of Poison and Confusion. Overall, Beedrill is an underrated card, can do quite a lot, and definitely deserves more recognition for actually being quite the killer bee. 29. Raichu. Given Pikachu's extreme popularity, it's no surprise Raichu also had a variant in the original set. The fossil version is okay, but it's so disappointing considering that Jungle Pikachu was an improvement from the base set one. Fossil Raichu goes to the same attack structure, except it costs twice as much as Jungle Pikachu's Spark. Giga Shock does more damage to the bench, which is good, but still only 10 damage each bench Pokemon. The 30 direct damage isn't even enough to get past an electric resistance. The base set Raichu is superior and is a slow and steady or fast and risky card depending on how you use it. As mentioned with Fearow, agility is one of the best moves in the game. For an electric and double colorless energy, you can annoy the heck out of your opponent with invulnerability all while slowly damaging them. Like Pikachu's Thunder Jolt, Thunder is a self-destructive attack that you're going to want to avoid using unless it's absolutely necessary. Regardless, agility alone is enough to carry Raichu into the semi-big leagues. Raichu takes a lot of energy to power up and also has difficulty doing damage on cards in electric resistance, an unfortunate weakness to those common and devastating ground, rock, and fighting attacks. While these are the main things holding it back from greatness, with a respectable HP, access to agility, and lower tree costs, Raichu is definitely a viable electric type. 28. Charizard. Back in the day, this was nearly everyone's favorite and most sought after original Pokemon card, but like many others have already realized, it's kind of disappointing. With one of the highest HPs and most powerful attacks in the game, as well as that intimidating cover art, it's obvious why people wanted one, but on closer inspection, it's not as amazing or useful as it looks. Its Pokemon Power Energy Burn makes it possible to use in any energy type deck, just like Charmander and Charmeleon. While its Pokemon Power potentially helps find energy to use, Charizard is still expensive not only power up in the first place, but to keep it going. Think about how many times you need a 100 damage attack to take out an opposing card. Unless you're going up against something like Blastoise from a champ, it's often extreme overkill. Sure, it's awesome delivering 200 damage to that poor Caterpie, from a tactical standpoint, it's beyond unnecessary, so that's where Charizard loses its vigor. After initiating a Fire Spin, you need to discard 2 energy cards. Even with the double colorless energy constantly on it, that's still a long time to power it back up, and in that time, your defenseless is getting pummeled or affected by status conditions as well as neglecting your own bench Pokemon's energy needs. Luckily, it has a resistance and a huge HP to keep it alive, but its energy hogging comes at a price. Its retreat cost is also high, and given its already insatiable energy consumption, it's unlikely to have the 3 energies to call it back. Overall, there are a few cards that are stronger and more durable than Charizard, but due to its ridiculous energy demands, it is a high risk and high reward card to consider using. 27. Pidgeot. After evolving from disappointment that is Pidgeot, does Pidgeot deserve its rare status? Sure. While not groundbreaking, it does have strategy and originality to it. Its 80 HP makes it a reasonable force, which is good because it needs a lot of health and its fighting resistance utilizes its attack combo. No longer has Whirlwind, but instead has Wing Attack, a no condition 2 energies 20 damage move, which is kind of disappointing for a 3rd stage. Hurricane is where it gets interesting. It's a unique move that only Pidgeot has and can be incredibly spiteful and obnoxious to 3rd stage Pokemon high energy users. Imagine fighting that Charizard, it's got enough energy to supply it all week. One Hurricane, all the cards are sent back to your opponent's hand, they have to start from scratch, and making sure their bench is something that can survive long enough to do so. Sometimes this can be pointless and ineffective to use, so there are situations when you're better off using Wing Attack even though it does less damage, but regardless, it's definitely a beneficial option to at least have available. If Wing Attack was stronger, Pidgeot would be amazing, but despite that, it's absolutely a distinct and proficient card. 26. Haunter. Like Ghastly, Haunter also received a drastic overhaul in the Fossil expansion. The thing was though, that base set Haunter wasn't all that bad. Because Hypnosis automatically put your opponent to sleep, you actually had a decent chance to keep him dosed for 2 turns or devastate them with the low energy costing, high damaging Dream Eater. Unfortunately, it had lowish HP, and if your opponent didn't stay asleep for at least 1 turn, you were defenseless in for a beatdown, having a resistance and no weakness wouldn't be enough to protect you from. However, Fossil Haunter is one of the most annoying and frustrating cards to face in the original set. Has one of the best Pokemon powers in the game. Your opponent needs to land a successful coin toss in order to damage and or affect you. It's like Withdrawal. If Withdrawal is constant, automatic. In order to be difficult to defeat on its own with just its Pokemon power, but its attack that automatically puts your opponent to sleep makes it twice as hard to hit. It's possible and believable that Haunter can take down cards with twice HP and attack strength, even a little bit of luck. Although once your opponent finally gets their hands on your ghostly body, you're done as Haunter doesn't have that much HP. Sleep, confusion, anything else negates its Pokemon power, its Achilles heel, and turns Haunter into an easy and satisfying target. But until it happens, Haunter's in control, making it a challenging card to defeat. 25. Exeggutor. This card always used to crack me up in the trading card video game. To begin, Teleport negates its high retreat cost, but it requires a Psychic, not Grass energy, and uses up your attack for that turn, which makes it somewhat ineffective, but it's still better than paying those 3 energies to retreat if you need to. Its other move, Big Explosion, is where it gets amusing. Exeggutor is such an underrated executioner, and this attack made the game fun when you had no real plan as one deal hundreds of damage each turn. But to get serious, there's no required energy type or limit to Big Explosion, meaning if you had the time and energy, you could feasibly attach 15 energy cards onto Exeggutor, and it could, though probably wouldn't do 300 damage if each coin tosses heads. With 10 energy cards and Exeggutor has a lot of probability on its side, it would do an average of 100 damage, which is a ton of energies, but the payoff is unbelievable as no negative repercussions like energy discard or self-damage for failed coin tosses. This makes Exeggutor viable in literally any deck as a colorless attack, although its first stage doesn't have the same benefit. Still, gameplay on successful coin tosses is never a great strategy, and if you sacrifice that much energy in this guy, you better make sure it can stay alive as long as possible to enjoy it, because while 80 HP is a lot, it's not immortality. Regardless, Exeggutor is a fun card to use and has the potential for absurdly lethal damage, or a possibility from 0 to 80 for just 2 double colorless energies. 24. Magmar. Magmar had 2 variants in the original set. The base set card was decent and had 2 relatively strong fire attacks. The only problem is it had laughably low HP for the energy consumption it needed. It was basically an inferior version of Charmeleon. However, the fossil version is better, so I'll stick with that for the ranking. The fossil version is more reliable and cost effective. Magmar is a great Pokemon to lead off with. Smokescreen is such an annoying move to face and it's super easy to power up. Thanks to Magmar's higher than average HP, has an excellent chance of wearing down the opponent before they can take it out. That is if they can even land a successful attack on this fire duck. With the lowest retreat cost and a pretty good second attack in Smog, Fossil Magmar is a necessary inclusion in any fire deck. 23. Lapras. Lapras is a tank, or warship I suppose. Its HP is extraordinary for a basic Pokemon that can actually fight back. Water Gun is the same as it is for Poliwag, but having 80 HP means you'll actually want to invest the other 2 energies to deal 30 damage. If you need more strategy than that, Lapras can also use Confuser and make confuse the opponent, which is often very effective and can definitely be worth doing less damage than Water Gun. It also has a surprisingly low retreat cost for its size, though with low energy costing attacks and high HP, you'll rarely want to retreat it. Lapras' main downside is its power caps out just 30 damage. Without successful Confusion, that's not all that impressive or deadly. However, Lapras is easily one of the safest lead out Pokemon, once be included multiple times in any water deck. 22. Moltres. Moltres is the second of the legendary birds on this list. Its wildfire attack may seem pointless, but has an interesting use in potentially decking out your opponent, which, given the regular occurrence of cards like Bill and Professor Oak being used, is actually possible, though difficult to pull off. However, you'll need those fire energy cards to power up your fire types, which not only require a lot of fire energies to use those fire attacks, but also when they discard them as well. Talk about burnout. Anyway, Moltres is a good unique fire type. It's something of a blessing that it wasn't given Flamethrower or Fire Blast, so it's still upsetting its attack costs 4 energies. Dive Bomb only has 50% chance of effectiveness, but just think about how much worse its attack could have been. Like Tails should discard energy to do 30 damage to yourself. Simply doing nothing isn't all that bad, especially when the payoff is a whopping 80 damage. It can be frustrating when it fails to attack, which leaves you defenseless, but when you land a hit, it's pretty much game over for the defending Pokemon. Due to having no weakness or resistance and a relatively high HP, Moltres has some time to bide in between heads. Its retreat cost isn't as bad as it could be, and it isn't the worst to sacrifice 2 energies if it's dragged out against your will before you can power it up. All in all, Moltres is deserving of its legendary bird title and can really incinerate the competition. I've no clue how much the Charizard card is actually worth. I've seen cards go between $10 to $1,000. Whatever it is, hold on to this one for a while. The series draw even close to its conclusion. Next installment will contain another set of 10 excellent cards, including the remaining legendary bird. See you then.